Hey music fans! As a roadie, I had this great opportunity to tour with all these bands. I wrote a book about my experiences on the road, and it was the #1 new release on Amazon and Bios, and it's now sold millions of copies on Kindle. I'm Joel Roadie, and this is my podcast, Party Like a Rock Star. All right, this is cool.
All right.
See if you've heard of these guys. And had my buddy heard of these guys? We'll find out here in 2 seconds, pretty quick. My buddy P. King is also a fellow roadie. P. King has toured with Black Label Society, Hellyeah, Babymetal, 10 Years, and a bunch of other cool bands. He actually makes his own coffee. If you guys are coffee drinkers and you want to check out his coffee, looks like this. And you guys can get it on his website. His website is rockdcoffeeco.com. Anyway, let's see what P. King has to say about Sabaton.
Let's have a gander at this. Oh, I'm so familiar with the Sabaton crew.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah. I've done some tours that they've been on. I've done some festivals that they've been on, and they've been absolutely, I mean, they're just a great group of people. Their camp, everybody's been fantastic.
Okay, cool. What tours did you, who'd you tour with? Who were you out with?
Oh man, for the festival dates, I was everybody from Black Label Society to, let's see, Lamb of God. I've done some dates with 10 Years where they were on the moniker as well for some of these festivals. Did some stuff that they had done a collaboration on with a certain other Japanese metal band that was also phenomenal.
Of course.
So, yeah, but they're always great. They bring the stage presence. They bring the noise, bring the funk, bring all of it together, man. Throw down the metal side, and the fans absolutely eat it up. And I love seeing those guys whenever I can.
Okay, so they never fired you.
No, nobody's ever fired. I've never been fired.
Really? I don't mean to be surprised, but that's awesome.
Not once. Not once.
Cool. All right, so this is one of their bigger songs. You've probably heard it, Christmas Truce.
All right.
Okay, and so this is an animated video, and I actually watched a couple of them now, and I just really enjoyed it. So it's like a history lesson behind the song. So they tell you a bit of history, which I found fascinating on the 2 that I listened to.
Yeah, that's great.
It's called Night Witches. You guys can check it out here if you want. It's really great. I loved it. And so that's brought me to here because the fans have been saying, dude, you got to check out the one for Christmas Truce. So I was hoping to do it with you because I haven't watched it either. So it's a little long. We're 9.5 minutes, but I think it's worth it. So
yeah, let's check it out, man.
Okay, cool.
It's the night of December the 24th, 1914, on the Western Front. The industrial might of the new 20th century has been focused into a war that has been going on for 5 months. Everyone thought it would be over by Christmas, but sadly such hopes have now died alongside the young men in the clinging mud and cold of the trenches. On the run-up to Christmas, Pope Benedict XV begged the warring governments to call a truce and asked that the guns may fall silent, at least upon the night the angels sang, but it was no use. In the trenches, sometimes just 30 meters apart, the men of both sides often shout insults to each other above the sounds of battle. On Christmas Eve, a cry comes over from the German side in broken English, "Tomorrow, you no shoot, we no shoot." The British and French are incredulous. Then along the trenches, there's a movement. But instead of seeing the sight of men going over the top, this time, pushed up above the top of the trenches, Christmas trees start to appear along the German lines, lit up by flickering candles. Is it a ruse? Could it be real? Could the regular soldiers on the front lines make a peace at Christmas when the church could not? On the wind, drifting across no man's land, there's a sound of hope and cheer as Christmas carols are sung. The gentle murmur becomes stronger and is picked up by more and more of the soldiers. As Christmas Eve becomes Christmas Day, the British and French join in too. As the morning draws, there's silence. In a farmhouse a short distance away from the front line is 18-year-old Scotsman Alfred Anderson. He vividly recalled that Christmas Day and said, I remember the silence, the eerie sound of silence. Only the guards were on duty. We all went outside the farm buildings and just stood listening. And of course, thinking of people back home. All I'd heard for 2 months in the trenches was the hissing, cracking and whining of bullets in flight, machine gun fire and distant German voices. But there was a dead silence that morning, right across the land as far as you could see. We shouted, "Merry Christmas! Merry Christmas! Merry Christmas! Merry Christmas! Merry Christmas!" Even though nobody felt merry.
Silence. Oh, I remember the silence on a cold winter day. After many months on the battlefield, and we were used to the violence, then all the cannons went silent, and the snow fell. Voices sang to me from no man's land. We are all friends. And today we're all brothers, tonight we're all friends. Our moment of peace in a war that never ends. Today we're all brothers, we drink and unite. Now Christmas has arrived and the snow turns the ground white. Hear carols from the trenches, we sing a holy night. Our guns lay to rest on snowflakes. Our Christmas in the trenches, our Christmas on the front, far from home. Madness, how I remember the sadness. We were hiding our tears in a foreign land where we faced our fears. We were soldiers, carried the war on our shoulders. For our nations, is that why we bury our friends? We were all friends. And today we're all brothers, tonight we're all friends. Our moment of peace in a war that never ends. Today we're all brothers, we drink and unite. Now Christmas has arrived and the snow turns the ground white. Hear carols from the trenches, we sing a holy night. Our guns lay to rest on snowflakes. Our Christmas in the trenches, our Christmas on the front, far from home.
There were many matches along the lines that day, some with proper footballs, some with bully beef cans, some were disorganized scrambles for the ball. Robert Graves reported that in his match, the Germans won 3-2. The Argyll and Southern Highlanders reported their match ended 4-1 to Scotland. An estimated 100,000 men took part in the Christmas Truce. As the men moved back to their trenches, Captain Charles Stockwell took it upon himself to fire 3 shots skyward. He raised a flag upon which was written, "Merry Christmas." His German opposite raised a flag that read, "Thank you." The 2 men then stood on the ramparts and saluted each other. Alfred Anderson, the young Scotsman, survived the war and lived to the age of 109. He said of the end of the truce, "The silence ended in the early afternoon. It was a short peace in a terrible war." But one of the most remarkable quotes comes from a young soldier who, despite being away from his family for the first time, said of the events on that day, "I wouldn't have missed it for the most gorgeous Christmas dinner in England." A Merry Christmas from everyone at Yarn Hub, and the final words go to the members of Sabaton.
Merry Christmas!
That's awesome.
I hate talking over it.
Yeah. But that is absolutely awesome.
Isn't that
That
cool? I love these stories because they give you these bookends. And so you're not just rocking out to a song, you have context.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's so
Absolutely.
well done. So well done. Yeah.
Oh, they're that one especially in this time of, everything going on in the Ukraine and Russia and all that other bullshit, which sucks.
Yeah.
I hate that anybody has to go through war of any kind, and that's terrible. To see this video around this time of year, especially, and to see how things would have, happened at different times, that shows that, the soldiers that are out there and the people that are fighting from whatever branch of service that are doing this thing for their duty to their country don't want to be out there either. They're doing it for God and country or whatever, but we're all human and we just we really want to get along. It's the people that are in power that are fucking it all up. So, that meaning of peace through that video alone is just,
it's amazing.
It's amazing. Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Beautiful.
Yep. Agreed.
All right. Let's try one more here.
All right.
Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed the show. I now have a Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Discord, and even a Patreon. The Patreon you can join for as little as $1. The handle on all of them, it's of course, Joel Roadie. I'll see you guys on the next one.